Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. To the Ohio State fans who've been rocking with the boys the last couple of weeks. We said it late last week. There is not a program that seems to be building more momentum to close out the 2026 class than Ryan Day and the Ohio State Buckeyes. That is exactly what we have to talk about come Monday afternoon. We have two commitments to talk about. The one that's most notable and most recent, four-star athlete Legend Bey. This kid, just go pop on his high school film. It's one of the more he is one of the more fun players to watch at the high school ranks. Plays quarterback at the high school ranks. Difference maker when this kid has the football in his hands. Now it sounds like he'll be making the transition to running back for Ohio State. Look, I don't know if he'll ever be a guy that you give 25 carries to in a football game, but I know that when you get the ball into his hands, normally good things will happen. And that's something that I have always appreciated with Ryan Day and how he likes to do things on offense. And that is, we don't overcomplicate the sport. We grab legitimate difference makers at the high school ranks, and we're going to get the ball into their hands. And normally good things are happening. And normally we're winning a lot of football games. Legend Bey is one of those guys. Now, I want to talk about how Ohio State might use a cat like Legend Bey. I couldn't think of a better team for him to go to because he is a unique guy that's kind of positionless right now at the high school ranks. Whether he plays wide receiver, whether he plays running back, there's going to need to be some creativity in how you get him involved in the Ohio State offense. And I trust Ryan Day and I trust this Ohio State coaching staff to do it right. I think it makes a ton of sense for Ohio State. I think it makes a ton of sense for Legend Bey. Normally, when you're saying that, it makes a lot of sense for the program and the player. Normally, it works out pretty damn well. Now, I also want to talk about a late commitment on Sunday night from Emanuel Ruffin, who I'm a fan of as well. Before we do, and as always, man, to the Ohio State fans, y'all, if you guys do enjoy talking the roster building process, we going to have a lot to talk about over the next couple of weeks and months. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Without further ado, let's get into Legend Bey. Now, I guess you could start with a little bit of a player comp. Two names came to mind. One Ohio State Buckeye, that's Curtis Samuel, kind of a gadget guy where you get the ball into his hands and good things happen. Another one, Terry Bussey, came out of the state of Texas 2 years ago, committed to Texas A&M, weren't sure if he was going to be a running back, defensive back, wide receiver, has settled into the wide receiver role. And although it's taken Terry Bussey a little bit to find his legs playing wide receiver, he is a guy that's a difference maker for Texas A&M, and that's kind of the benefit if you're an Ohio State fan you get with Legend Bey. It's like there is so much offensive talent and playmaking ability. You're not going to be forced to get Legend Bey on the field earlier than he should. You have some time to grab him, and whether he plays wide receiver, whether he plays running back, you're going to have some time to develop him and get him ready. So once he takes the field, he's a guy that can be a difference maker for you. 10-6 guy in the 100-meter dash, so a legitimate straight line home run hitting ability. And this is going to sound crazy here. His 10-6 100-meter dash, which is a very, very impressive time. One of the faster players that you see in the country right now. I don't even know if that's my favorite trait that he has because his quicks, you might say, the twitch, his ability to make you miss, accelerate, decelerate, that innate playmaking ability that Legend Bey has when he has the ball in his hands, that's my favorite. He's a guy that the best way to describe him is he's got that it factor. When you find ways to get him the ball, good things going to happen. Now, the other name that I do want to talk about here is Emanuel Ruffin. Now, the reason I like Emanuel Ruffin, it's really a two-pronged approach. Number one, big time upside. He's one of those prospects that I think's really damn raw. I don't think he's the best defensive lineman that you see in the country right now in 2026. He's got all the traits that you are looking for a high-end Big Ten difference maker at some point down the line. The two things I love is, one, this is a really hard position to address in the portal. If you need a wide receiver, of which Ohio State will never really need a wide receiver, but if you do, you can go to the portal and grab one. If you need to go fill a running back like CJ Donaldson, you can go out and grab one. These bodies are hard to find, man. Like if you want to build your defensive line in the transfer portal, chances are you're probably not going to have very good defensive line. It is crucial for these teams to stack these kind of bodies at the high school ranks. We said this last week. I'll say it again. I think one of the biggest unspoken reasons why Ohio State won a national championship last year was how damn good that defensive line was. The media talked about Jeremiah Smith, Will Howard, Travion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins, and rightfully so. Like some of the best players in the sport. That Ohio State defensive line was legit. And I think that was the reason they got over the hump in the 2024 year. You want to make sure you have that because you best believe Ryan Day doesn't want to just win one national championship. He wants to compete for them all. Got to make sure you build the trenches at the high school ranks because it's really hard to do in the portal. And again, the upside is the other part. And the other part about this too, and I apologize for rambling a little bit on Emanuel Ruffin, is, man, there in this 2026 cycle, there just weren't that many cats that looked like Emanuel Ruffin. And so you have the opportunity to go grab a guy that truly can be a difference maker in the Big Ten over the next couple of years, where I don't think there were that many guys that really have that ability in the 2026 cycle. Where does Ohio State go from here? I just got one name. There's a bunch of different names that Ohio State is going to be pursuing. None more important than Kevin Brown. Now, he's currently committed to Penn State. Obviously, he's taking visits right now due to the circumstances at Penn State. Sounds like West Virginia is going to be Ohio State's biggest competition. In my personal opinion, you don't let Kevin Brown go to West Virginia. Do what you have to do. I freaking love this kid. He gives you tackle guard versatility. He's a wrestler at the high school ranks, an extremely powerful individual that has some weight room things you won't see from very many kids at the high school ranks. A very similar conversation to what we had with Emanuel Ruffin, man, it's hard. It's really, really hard to find difference-making offensive linemen in the portal. I think Ohio State did a decent job of doing it this offseason, but you don't want to put yourself in that spot every single year. Go get a guy like Kevin Brown. You can play him at tackle. You can play him at guard. He's going to be an ass kicker in the run game. If I'm an Ohio State fan, if I'm on Ohio State staff, I'm doing everything I can to not let this kid walk. Close it out there. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. I think we'll have more to talk about over the next couple of days and weeks. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later.